Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. Something very interesting took place today, and that was the creation of a new district in the state of Punjab, Malerkotla. Now, the interesting data that is coming out is that this is either already a minority majority district or it is trending towards that. I'm not 100% sure. Mr. RVS Mani, our guest today, will explain this, but to just set the context, there was another minority majority district that was created in Kerala called Malappuram. Interesting, Malerkotla, Malappuram, and it has had some consequences. It has been a consequential event. This happened many years ago. Now we have another one happening the same way. There have to be consequences again because this is on the border, as I am given to understand. To know more about this and the implication and the process that takes place when somebody wants to create a new district, was the Ministry of Home Affairs, Mr. Amit Shah, were they involved in this? Did they give approval? All these things and more we will get to know from Sri RVS Mani. Mr. Mani, namaskaram and welcome to PGurus channel, sir.
Namaskaram. Thank you very much. Please.
So, sir, just walk us through what happened. First of all, is it true? Is it already a minority majority district? Will the minority now, which will be the majority outside of this state, enjoy the same benefits of other minorities?
No, there is no decision has been taken. As long as creation of districts are concerned, the domain is of the state government and there is no doubt about it. They are well fully empowered, entitled to do it within their domain. This is a problem in the Indian Constitution because when the Constitution framers were there, they thought that politicians will have a high level of integrity and they will put the national interest above all, above the political interest. But that has not been the case over a period of time as these events have unfolded. So that is where the lacuna has been livered. Malerkotla was basically, even then, was a Muslim majority area. The local Nawab, as per the local Nawab preferred to stay with India, and that is how this district was an island amongst all other districts in Punjab. This is a unique thing about the Malerkotla. It has given us very great citizens, including Bobby Jindal, who contested in the US elections around 15 years back. That is what is my information. But having said that, they are well within the rights, but there is this well within the rights is a lacunous, very anomalous issue when the national security and national interests are concerned. And yesterday it was deemed as a gift of Eid al-Fitr to the Muslims of Malerkotla. Basically, there is a border district and Punjab already is seeing a lot of not very desirable activities the entire stretch of border, in the international border. Punjab has an international border, the LOC starts after Jammu. So that is one thing. And we have had, on the earlier, we have seen the bloodbath during the Sikh militancy period, and that also was triggered by the same party in power which is in power today in Punjab. So there is no doubts about it. My second book is coming very shortly, and I'm sure people will appreciate and get to know the details. But the question again is the Sikh extremism or the extremism in Punjab, which was centered around Punjab, never died. And the Pakistani had been recently of late fanning it, whether it is the Kiratpur Sahib corridor, where the Punjab official delegation, the Government of India official delegation was insulted by Imran Khan, and non-official guests were facilitated. I had written a lot of things about this, that Imran Khan is not going to be a great cricketing friend of Sidhu, but he will be a pawn in the hand of ISI. And this recent things also pans out, it seems there is a conspiratorial angle to this. But I will put it in three perspectives. Basically three imperatives of this district being: legally it may be okay, legally it may be perfectly right. But Punjab, in the given, normally every district creation also entails a lot of resource requirement. Transfers, reallocations, cadre allocations, postings, and new infrastructure to be created to the new district headquarters, restructuring of the police, restructuring of investigation in vital cases. There are so many cascading effects, land records, revenue records. So it has a lot of cost effect. It's a cost input imperative to this. Whether the Punjab government has earmarked the resources or they are going to come with a begging ball and later on say Modi ne kuch nahi kiya. This is the first imperative of it. And given that it has been declared during the time of when the pandemic is attacking India, let's also get it right that the second surge, COVID surge, there are many reports suggesting that the second COVID surge was on account of the Punjab farmers who had come and joined, some farmers of Sikhs for Justice, the farmers of the separatist movement for Khalistan who are very active in UK, Canada, and certain parts of it. And this is not today, I'm talking of even 2009, they were never dormant. They are having joined the farmers' protest and pushing for the COVID surge too. Who was he trying to appease? Was he trying to appease not the people of Malerkotla, Muslims of Punjab, or was he supposed to appeasing somebody else under the cover of this, under the curtains of appeasement of a particular community? It is unfortunate that even that community gets further maligned because of this political appeasement, and the leadership of that community never came out and said this. So this is also a very unfortunate point that it is, see, the after effect of this is the cleavage between the majority minority in Punjab will further aggravate. This is something, and this is the right time to cover themselves with glory that let the status quo. Some of the leaders of the Malerkotla, the Muslim leaders, could have risen over this and covered themselves with glory by opposing this decision, but they have chosen to keep quiet. So far, no reactions have come. Because it is not just giving a district. Revenue imperatives are there. There are so many other DRDO, the project, the programs, half programs will be divided. The budget has to be reallocated. So many things are there. The DRDO is the District Rural Development Agency or the village areas and district planning offices. Everything, the plans, everything goes for a toss. Although the district is an administrative unit of the state government, and how they administer is their problem, and very clearly said. So number 3 is this security angle. That is a very vital angle. The third imperative is, this is a border district. Recent reports had also suggested that the co-vaccines were being smuggled into Pakistan. It was available for some $15. Somebody said $20. But a lot of reports are floating around. This is a pandemic situation and resources meant for Punjab people, citizens of India, are going out. We had seen this separatists standing with these farmers in the recent farm bill agitation, which is happening out the outskirts of Delhi. There also a lot of anti-national elements have been found to be there. And many of them with the origin of Punjab, PIOs of Punjab origin. And added to that, the drug peddling has been a very bane of Punjab. And we get away with it, but it captured the situation. And a lot of drug peddling does happen even now. And plus, the ethnic commonality would enable the drug peddling to increase at a much faster pace. So, there are many questions. What was the reason? Why was this opportunity? So, what the government of India could have done? Basically, all these things will be on the radar of the government. They cannot wring their fingers in helplessness. A district would have formed with the approval of the governor. Obviously, I think governor should have, or governor would have alerted the thing, and the intelligence agency should have developed on the security imperatives of. This is 1, 2. See, and number 2 is, I believe the next step will be Malerkotla cross-border trade to some place in Faizalabad or Kahuta or whatever it is. This could be the death knell for so many things. This could be opening the Pandora's box. See, long time back I had said about a 360-degree attack from government. It is not going to be just Kashmir alone, Kashmir or coast alone, there could be. Certain things not very desirable are also happening in Balotra, Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, Ganganagar and all on the Rajasthan side of the border, Rajasthan state. Let me share with you, people can go back and do their research. Even in 2007, it is all reported, it was also reported on the TV, that in Ganganagar, Pakistani arms were available and the local commissionerate was giving even licenses for that. Arms of Pakistani markings. So that is going to be vital because that area is always vulnerable. And Malerkotla, Bathinda, and let us not also forget that this will also disturb the equilibrium among the inter-district relationships, both in Punjab as well as in Haryana. Let us also appreciate or refresh ourselves that in Punjab problem, one of the moot cause was also the districts which were given to Haryana, the Abur and the Fazalika. Referendum and all. This was always on their agenda, apart from the claim over Chandigarh. So the humongous issues are done from the security perspective, from the militancy being revived in Punjab, whatever you call it, the militancy visiting back Punjab, and this area contains a lot of security establishment in the Bathinda and the Bathinda and the Firozpur area and all. There are a lot of security establishment deployments are there. Even movements are noticed. So I think the government should somehow try to. I don't mind giving them a district. Absolutely, I'm with them. But this should not have been done when the India is facing with so much challenges, with a severe security implications. This type of a hand me out has been given. We know that 2611, I have been always claiming, we have discussed this debate, 2611 was also a fixed match between the Indian National Congress and the ISA. Is another fixed match in the offing? That is the question we need to be seeking find. And if it is in the offing, then we should avert it, we should preempt it. That is what is my submission.
Viewers, this is an open invitation to the Chief Minister of Punjab, Captain Amarinder Singh. You are welcome to come explain this decision of yours, sir, on PGurus channel. We will give you the space and the time. And perhaps you can explain what are the benefits of doing this at such a time. And this is important. I think we as human beings have to start looking beyond our narrow partisan interests, whether it is just the Congress party or the BJP or any other party. If they put their party above the interests of the nation, something has gone wrong, something is not going to work out. The way I see it is you're going to create more such copycat instances where other states will also start creating this minority majority districts. It might not be just one religion. Other religions also are poised to become significant in various pockets, and there is nothing preventing them from creating their own district. Now, the problem is if everything gets secularly administered, and I am using this word in its fullest correct sense, there is no problem. Anybody can live under anybody's administration if these people, if everybody acts and functions according to the rules laid down by the Constitution of India. But history tells us otherwise. Does Captain Amarinder Singh not know what is happening in Malappuram? Does Captain Amarinder Singh not know what is happening in Mel Visharam in Tamil Nadu? Why this madness? Isn't it? Did you not serve the armed forces, sir? What are you thinking? I'm really, really kind of, a little upset about this thing, and I just can't find the rationale and the timing. Both seems horribly wrong to me, Mr. Mani. Are these being done to get the Congress ready for the 2024 elections? I mean, they first need to change their leader, for God's sake.
See, I think that is for the Congress to answer whether they are going to contest in 2024 or their present leader is BJP's assets. I don't want to comment on that. Having said that, the basic thing is what was the imperative, what was the need, what was the compulsion to give a Eid ka tofa, Eidi they call it. Because in Malappuram we have seen immediately after becoming a district there was a passport office opened there which ultimately had to under the Minister of State for External Affairs, on whom I have my reservations about his loyalty to India. He is no more so to defend with himself, so I don't want to raise that issue. But certain, even Pakistanis knows which side of the butter he was buttering. Bread he was buttering. So that is one part of it. Then the thing had to be closed. The Punani passport office had to be closed, Malappuram. And Malappuram being a full-fledged Muslim district, now it has escalated to a North Malabar state, Islamic state within the state of Kerala for a North Malabar state, because large areas of that northern Malabar have become totally dominant with particular community. And the maximum instances of ISIS recruit are going from that area. The Indian contribution to ISIS recruits, the highest is from that particular district and the district adjoining that. It is a reported fact, it's a well-known fact, including the love jihads happening there. Including the love jihads happening there and the product of those love jihads becoming sex slaves in the ISIS. These are all verifiable facts. We have in the same Malappuram district or the adjoining areas, grandmothers in their 30s on which we have already spoken. All the vices that has happened, that can happen, are happening there. And now even otherwise in the Kerala establishment, there is a selective posting of officers. Only officers belonging to particular communities are posted there. You can again verify this. Or with having a soft corner for that particular community could be posted in any of the areas, right from Kasargod till the North Malabar, beginning from Kasargod, adjoining the Mangalore to Kozhikode or even Malappuram. Once the district is created, then these type of trends will also start. Then where is the secularism in the sect neutral? Where is that sect neutralism in the constitution, from which constitution talks about? You carve out a geographical area, you post your own favorable officers who will be sympathetic to the misdeeds. At the same time, now what is happening in Hamas? The aggression starts. If the officer takes action, he is doomed. If he doesn't take action, India is doomed.
And also, there is an interesting side story to this, Mr. RVS Mani. People who you should take a little bit of work and do this research. Find out the names of the sub-inspectors, the police forces in some of these northern Kerala districts. You're in for a surprise. And
I know that Shanawaz and others are there. Even the Y sub-inspector, even at the middle level also, Suvarna police, etc. also. Predominantly, I had already addressed this, predominantly in all the North Kerala districts, predominantly the postings of, not only this, the design goes somewhere else on which I have already reported. In Karnataka, in Kerala, etc., the police recruitment charge is given to an officer of that particular community. It's a matter of fact. The arms in charge, again, the IG in charge of the arms and other ammunition is also given to the officer of the. These two are sufficient. When the police recruitment happens, there is a lopsided recruitment for a particular community disproportionate to their representation in the state population. It could be possibility if it is purely on merit. But if you dig deeper, the meritorious, one of the reasons Narendra Modi took over and did the first thing was to abolish interviews up to the post of grade C. It was a welcome step for the simple reason that it was in these interviews that these type of nepotism, these type of caste propagation, everything used to happen. I have discussed the Shah Faisal case in detail in one of my reports, one of my press clippings in DNA 1.5 2 years back. That how the number two is almost, that means this type of thing. Mr. Sudarshan TV has also deliberated on this. So, of course, the civil services, the interview is there, but below group A services, the interview is there. But below that, Narendra Modi has already abolished all interviews so that these type of things do not happen. But in spite of that, recruitment process, trainings, etc., are happening, and you can see that in the list of successful candidates who are joining the police force and the lower civil service. We had seen it in Jammu and Kashmir. We had seen it in Bengal. Yadavs and we had seen it in UP, Bihar, where when the Yadav chief minister was there, all the recruits were Yadavs, and when the Mayawati was the chief minister, all the recruits were Jatavs. These overwhelmingly Jatavs. These things we have already seen it in other states. In Bengal also, see, creation of a separate district, I don't see any difference between what recently happened in Bengal post-poll and what has happened in creation of. See, basically they are icons, signs of different signs of the same format, same canvas. They were different caricatures on the same canvas. There, different type of ethnic cleansing is there. Here, ethnic consolidation is happening. I would call it ethnic consolidation. And the ethnic consolidation is happening, unfortunately, in a border area. So, we may end up having another Kashmir in Punjab, we may end up having another Kashmir in Bengal, we may end up having, I don't know, Bihar also is not very far away, I'm warning you right now. Because in Indo-Nepal border, again, these things are happening. Betia, Champaran districts and all, Gandak River on both sides. So that, but Bihar may also be no exception. But this is what is the reality, truth. And we call upon, it's a shout out to everybody, powers that be, that please act. Okay, UP is now under control, but UP also, Maharajganj, lot of things that happened in the past. But lot of things have been recovered, gathered, and we have come out much better in this situation. But in Bihar, it is still not very desirable.
I have to now ask question to all my good brothers and sisters of West Bengal, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Surely, getting money for your vote is great. Yes, in the time of pandemic, it is great. Yes, take it, put it in your pocket. But nobody can come and tell you, you took money from me, but you voted for the other person. Your vote is yours. It's your secret to keep. You don't need to disclose it to anybody. How long are you going to be blinded by this loyalty created for having taken bribe to vote? Then how can you expect the same politician to be clean when you yourself are willing to be corrupted? These are things that we have to ask ourselves. This is just beyond me that somebody will change their vote just because somebody is, it's like an auction. Your loyalties are being auctioned and you don't realize it, but what you are is you are like a frog in a big balti of water which is being slow heated and you are being slow cooked. I'm telling you this, I've said this before also, it may sound harsh. The quicker you realize it, the faster you can act. And God's sake, in the central government also sometimes I'm just ashamed, appalled at the inactivity on their part. Why did they not clear out this farmers agitation thing? We said it many months ago. We were one of the first ones to call out on Delhi riots also. So, Mr. Mani, I don't understand it. They will not even come out and say why they are allowing these agitations to keep on festering. And then they'll say, okay, we have to control COVID. But you are also creating COVID by letting these people to assemble, isn't it?
On farmers' agitation, In fact, PGurus and myself should take pride on the fact that it was basically, if you see my blog, our blog in this, on
Yes.
5th May 2020, only farmers' bills was a copycat of that. Forget about it. I don't want to. But the question is, they don't want the Indian, let us get it right. It is well established that they don't want the Indian farmers to grow rich. Because the political agenda is to keep them poor so that they can be exploited. Whether by giving cash for votes or whether by doing all sorts of things. That is the essence of farmers' agitation. And the brazen, it is the brazenness to which they have taken it. And the government's soft approach is not acceptable. They could have cleaned it up, the mess. I don't know what stops them there. It's a very surprising thing about their inaction. They are not going to milk it financially. They are not going to milk it politically. I don't think anybody from the sympathizer. And the irony is, many of the chief ministers have given their solidarity with them, which is extremely, in spite of the fact that the girl got raped. A girl recently, you report, got raped in the farmers' agitation. And the people who were clapping around when she was being raped, like Yogendra Yadav, who brought her to the place, are still not been arrested. He should have been arrested as soon as the rape was reported. Whether it's a rape in Bengal, whether it is a rape in wherever it is happening, the filthy level to which these people have fallen, the anti-India. See, it is indeed Modi's juggernaut is there. There is no doubt that there are economic interests that if he goes on at this pace, he may be there. There may be vested interest trying to arrest it. There may be economic interest. There may be political, because politically, if this fellow comes on like at the rate which he was going in 2000, all these things started after 2019. Whether it is a CAA, his second innings has been a nemesis for India because the way he was doing the first, that he is not being allowed to do, whether it is COVID-1, whether it is CAA, whether it is farmers' agitation, everything. He is not being given that opportunity to carry on the juggernaut with the same speed and even accelerate it. That he has to accept, and that he has to first go and get some officers who can really deliver. Now, till now, Jagdeep Dhankar has been saying that I have not received a report from the Mamata Banerjee. There are others, so the constitution people who are saying the constitution are talking absolute nonsense, because constitution says advise and aid and advice of the council of ministers. But when it comes to the question of integrity of the state, it is incumbent upon, there is nobody. Some people were talking about SR Bommai case. SR Bommai case is only limited to loss of majority by this political dispensation. But whenever the integrity and security and sovereignty of India is concerned, all provisions of constitution can be suspended. It can be superimposed with a presidential rule. There is no bar. I don't know whichever constitutional lawyer wants to contest on me. I will say that that is the spirit of the emergency provisions. That whenever whether a part of the country or whether the whole of country, when the integrity and the sovereignty of the state is challenged, no other provisions shall be applicable, and this president should have becomes paramount. We don't know why these constitutional authorities don't have the guts or the vision. Because West Bengal is today exists because India exists. So by virtue of their misdeeds, if the India has to be disintegrated, then where will be West Bengal? Will they be able to sustain themselves as a state with the level of development? So basically that needs to be underlined. I don't know, because I am also a student of constitution. I am also a LLM. I may not practice because of my guru's dictum, but otherwise there is nothing less. When the integrity and sovereignty of the state comes, that is paramount to even any constitution. During emergency provisions, even constitution is made subservient. And these are all emergency situations we are fighting. Now you have seen it in Kashmir has already settled, but the question is now Bengal started, Punjab started, Rajasthan is on the anvil, Bihar is on the anvil, Kerala is out. Tamil Nadu in November 12th, 2018, I had warned about Tawheed Jamaat. Everybody said you are an alarmist. Immediately after 6 months, the Tawheed Jamaat was found doing Easter blast in Sri Lanka. Existence of Tawheed Jamaat is well known. I don't know why people don't, when you think of ahead. Everything I have said, I'm not bragging about it. Nikah, halala and human trafficking, I had said in 2018. Now India Today reports reinforces that. So I don't know why don't they simply see, don't have the vision. If I can think with my own limited resources, I think the government with muscular resources should be able to not only generate the information, but deal them with iron hand. Let them not stand on political correctness or what people will say. People will say what even now Hamas, people are still supporting the Hamas when we all know who is the aggressor is. So that type of that, once you take a strong stand, world is only with strong people, world is not with weak, righteous people. So don't worry about it. Go for a iron hand. In 2000, in Balakot, you did a wonderful job. In Uri retaliation, it was a muscular policy. In the northeast, going into Myanmar and shooting down chasing down the militants, it was a muscular policy. But that muscle is lacking in 2019 onward. That is very unfortunate. Otherwise, all these things would not happen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mani. And viewers, we are unable to take your questions at this time. This is a fairly important topic. I think we would like you to reflect on some of the questions and observations of Mr. Mani. He has been in the Ministry of Home Affairs for many years. He is always ahead of his time. And this is the point. We are not here to just, express questions, but we can see trends, we can spot trends, and that is what our subject matter experts do. And Mr. Mani, thanks once again for joining us at such short notice, sir. Namaskar and all the best.